It's almost impossible to believe that it's been about 30 years since Wario made his video game debut. And the very first game that he appeared in, I believe, was Super Mario Land 2, Six Golden Coins. And this was one of the more interesting games in the Mario series back in the day, considering the fact that it was probably one of the first games where the main villain of a Mario game was someone other than Bowser. And Wario basically, I think, took over Mario's castle and I guess used some kind of like magic spell or something to turn all the inhabitants and everything against him. And honestly, there were like a variety of different levels you had to get through to get to Wario, and by the time you got to the castle stage, a lot of people just quit because it was too hard, and you only had like a limited amount of lives to actually beat the entire thing. It was way harder than the average Mario game, because you look at games like Mario 1 and 2, those games were not too hard. I mean, Mario 1 was very basic. Mario 2 basically gave you more characters to choose from, and Mario 3 was fun, but it was tougher as players got closer to the end. Super Mario Land 2 Six Golden Coins was probably one of the most difficult Mario games ever made, and since then Wario has made a name for himself as a villain, and I guess after that particular installment, he was mainly an anti-hero from Super Mario Land 3 onwards. And Wario had, various Game Boy titles, and for some reason, Wario never got a SNES title, or he never got a N64 title, which is criminal considering how popular he was after the Six Golden Coins game and how popular Wario is today. And the thing is, Wario is probably not as popular as he should be, because you look at Nintendo's most popular platforms in the past, excluding the Wii console, the SNES and the N64 were very popular, and if Wario had his own game on the SNES or the N64, he could have gained more exposure, and I still believe that he would have been a step below Mario in terms of popularity, but he probably would have been a step above Luigi. And I don't even think that Wario is even like a step above Luigi in popularity anymore, mainly concerning the fact that Luigi have the Mansion games, and the most recent installment, Luigi Mansion 3, was the most successful one of them all. So technically, Luigi is, and this is debatable, Luigi seems like he's more popular than Wario, only because he's been included in more Mario games, and for the most part, his games, like the Mansion games, ended up being successful than the majority of Wario's titles. And but a lot of people who were like big Game Boy users back in the day, they remember the Wario Land games 1, 2, and 3, where I guess when Wario was feuding with the Black Sugar Gang in the first 2 Wario Land games, and then he was feuding with Rudy the Clown in Wario Land 3, and I believe Rudy the Clown was one of the few villains that could actually like hurt and like kill Wario physically. And honestly, I feel like since then, like since the Game Boy era, it seems like it's been hit and miss with Wario. And I feel like one of Wario's more popular titles was a Shake It game that came out back in 2008, and it felt like it was a huge step in the right direction in terms of gameplay and art design and all that stuff. And then you look at the Game & Wario title, which came out for the Wii U. It looked very different. I believe that game came out back in 2013, and the visuals were not the best, but I do feel that it was something that was appealing because it was very different, and it looked a little bit more juvenile than what you would see in the standard Mario or Nintendo game, for that matter. But Wario, I think, is probably one of the greatest anti-heroes that Nintendo has ever created, because you look at Nintendo's history, they don't really have much of a history on creating anti-heroes. It's like you're either a hero or you're a villain, and that's just the way it is. Mario was I guess he was a hero, then he was a villain for a short period of time, then he became a hero again, and he's been a hero ever since. I believe Mario was he was a villain in the Donkey Kong Jr. game, and then after that, when he had his own game, I believe in 85, he had just been a hero ever since, for the most part. Donkey Kong is probably I guess, the closest thing to an anti-hero that you can get to aside from Wario, because at one point when Donkey Kong had his own video game back in the early 80s, he was considered a villain for kidnapping Mario's girlfriend and trying to kill him in the process. So Donkey Kong was like closer to being an anti-hero at one point. But the thing is, Donkey Kong was never presented as a villain or as an anti-hero in any way, since like the early 80s for the most part. So when you really think about it, Wario is probably the only like mainstream anti-hero that Nintendo really has, because I don't think Nintendo is trying to create anti-heroes, because for the most part they're trying to appeal to a casual audience and they're trying to appeal to children more than anything. So I guess that just makes perfect sense. But a lot of people feel like Wario deserved more in terms of, I guess, promotion, because he's not advertised, the same way as Mario is. And, Mario for the most part has been the same character for for over the past 35 years. She's been like the same character, and you just had various Mario games in different genres, whether it be sports, whether it be racing, or just regular platform titles. Mario's been the same character, and a lot of people would criticize Mario for not evolving, but since Mario is the best, or is basically the biggest character that Nintendo has, and nothing has changed in over the past 30 years. It's one of those deals where if it's not broken, don't fix it. But yeah, Wario is definitely one of the greatest anti-heroes that Nintendo has ever created in general.